Do you think you understand fear? Think again, because true terror is not in the movies, nor in the books, and much less in what you can see. It lives in Derry, disguised as a smiling clown, playing with every insecurity you hide inside yourself. And the most disturbing part, he knows exactly what you fear even before you realize it. Welcome to another video on this channel, and today, taking advantage of the series that is being released now. Which is it? Welcome to Derry. Set a few decades before the first It movie, we are going to dive into the story of Pennywise, the clown who causes chaos in Derry, and discover why he is able to haunt us in ways you never imagined. If you are a fan of cinema, psychology, and want to understand the mind behind your favorite character, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any video. But first, comment below which character you want me to analyze here on the channel. Now let's go to the video. Pennywise is not just a clown with exaggerated makeup, he is the personification of fear in Derry. He appears with that smile that seems harmless but hides something ancient, almost mythical. He watches every corner of the city as if every street and alley were parts of Have you ever stopped to think how something so colorful can provoke so much terror? It is exactly this duality that makes him so fascinating. He has no defined age, nor a fixed face. His essence transcends the human. For adults, he is just a confusing memory from childhood, something that dissolves into rationality. But for children, he is real, tangible, terrifying. It is as if he were the shadow of the city itself, reminding us that fear does not need justification. And this constant presence creates a silent suspense that keeps us tied to the story. What makes Pennywise so intriguing is that he is not just a physical monster. He feeds on emotions, fear, insecurity, hidden traumas. All of that is fuel for him. He can sense our most intimate vulnerabilities, almost as if he could read minds. Have you ever felt that chill down your spine just imagining someone knowing your deepest fears? That is exactly what he does with every child in Derry. Despite his playful appearance, he is cruel and meticulous. He plans each encounter like a maestro conducting a macabre symphony. He does not run, he waits, watches, manipulates, as if he were testing how deep fear can take root. And it is this predatory patience that makes his presence even more frightening, because we know he does not make mistakes. He adapts. His connection with Derry is almost symbiotic. He is not just in the city. The city itself seems to pulse with his very essence. Every disappearance, every breath of terror reinforces the mythology he represents. Do you notice how the places we know can hold dark secrets if we look closely? This connection creates a universe that goes far beyond simple cinematic horror, and there is something almost hypnotic about him. When he appears, he attracts, fascinates, and terrifies at the same time. He plays with children as if manipulating pieces on a chessboard, always knowing that each move will have irreversible consequences. And this ability to seduce and terrify simultaneously is a lesson on how fear can be seductive if we allow ourselves to be captivated by it. Even before acting, Pennywise already leaves deep psychological marks. Every trauma, every shiver, every sleepless night, he causes plant seeds that grow over time. It is as if he were a shadow that accompanies all of childhood, reminding us that some fears never completely disappear. And maybe that is what makes his figure so iconic in the collective imagination. Finally, his essence is an invitation to look within yourself. What really scares us, what makes us run or scream? Pennywise is more than a villain. He is a mirror of human fear. And it is exactly this mirror that prepares us to better understand the conflict he creates in Derry. And of course, the children who cross his path. Pennywise does not come from nowhere. He is an ancient cycle of terror that has haunted Derry for centuries. His history is shrouded in mystery, with accounts lost in time, as if the city itself guarded his secret. In every generation, he returns, feeding on the fear of children and leaving scars that span decades. Have you ever thought about how certain traumas seem to pass through generations even when no one talks about them? That is exactly the feeling he evokes. What makes his story fascinating is that he is not just a monster, he is an enigma. He plays with perception, confuses reality and illusion, making it impossible to know where imagination ends and real threat begins. Every appearance is meticulously calculated, as if he were writing his own legend. It is almost poetic, and at the same time terrifying, to think that something like this can exist without rules, without morality. His story intertwines with the city and the events that define it. Every disappearance, Every childhood fear is not random. He creates patterns, weaving a narrative that feeds him. It is as if Derry were a living chessboard, and he, the invisible player, always a few moves ahead. And that makes us reflect. How many times do we ignore obvious signs of danger around us? He is a master at exploiting that. Pennywise is also a scholar of human weakness. He understands that fear is not just screaming or panic. It lives in doubt, in insecurity, in the shadow of every thought. That is why his conflict is not only external, it is internal, psychological. He tests limits, provokes dilemmas, and explores every crack in the mind. Imagine if someone could anticipate every one of your fears. That is his power, and the terror we feel is a natural reaction to it. His story is full of cycles of repetition and return. No matter how many times he is defeated, he always comes back, renewing his pact with fear. This creates a sense of inevitability, as if it were impossible to escape his reach. And maybe that is where the fascination lies. He forces us to face the fact that some horrors do not disappear just by willpower. Each appearance is like a reversed psychology lesson. He reveals what people fear most without them saying a word. What seems absurd or surreal to us is valuable information for him, fuel that feeds his essence. It is interesting to notice how often terror takes advantage of what already exists inside us. He merely illuminates what is already hidden. His story also carries a lesson in patience and strategy. He does not rush. He does not show himself completely. He waits for the right moment, that instant when the child is most vulnerable. This reminds us that understanding human behavior requires observation and time, even if, in his case, it is terrifying. Each of his movements is calculated with almost surgical precision. Finally, his conflict is both universal and deeply personal. He touches each child in a unique way, exploring fears that only they know. And it is exactly this personalized touch of terror that creates such an intense narrative, setting the stage for the next phase. What he does in Derry, and how he interacts with the group of losers. Pennywise is not just a threat. He is the personification of chaos lurking around every corner. He watches, waits, and chooses his victims with almost surgical precision. With the losers, his actions are even more subtle. He explores individual fears, creates illusions, and manipulates perceptions. Have you ever thought how someone who understands each of your insecurities could play with you like a chess master? That is exactly how he acts. Each encounter with the losers is a psychological test. He does not attack in an obvious way. He provokes, questions, threatens, showing that fear does not need physical violence to be devastating. He plays with each one's memories, desires, and traumas, using them as weapons. And that is when we realize true terror lies in feeling vulnerable before something that seems to know you better than you know yourself. Pennywise creates situations that seem impossible to escape, turning the ordinary into a nightmare. Every sewer channel, every dark street, every alley in Derry becomes a stage for psychological terror. He forces the losers to confront their deepest fears, revealing who they truly are. It is almost like a cruel mirror reflecting fears they would rather forget. With each child or teenager, he takes on a different form, adapting to each one's perception. For one, he is the smiling clown. For another, the manifestation of their oldest trauma. This ability to camouflage himself within others' fears makes him practically unbeatable. Imagine someone who can transform into what scares you the most. It is impossible to escape your own fear. He also tests the bonds among the losers. By exploring individual fears, he creates tension and distrust, showing how terror can corrode even the strongest friendships. But interestingly, it is through these tests that they also find strength in one another. It is as if Pennywise were, in a paradoxical way, a catalyst for the group's psychological growth, though no one wants to admit it. The demonic clown is not limited to direct attacks. He sows doubt, insecurity, and paranoia. Every detail, every shadow, every sound is calculated to increase the psychological impact. He turns Derry into a territory where the mind becomes the main victim. And this makes us reflect on how often our own fears trap us more than external threats. Each confrontation with the losers reveals a different facet of human fear. Pennywise understands that terror is not the same for everyone. It is personal, intimate, psychological. By exposing these vulnerabilities, he shows that the true power of fear lies in knowing the mind of the one you want to control. And it is exactly this deep understanding that makes him so dangerous and fascinating. Finally, his presence in Derry and over the losers is not only one of destruction, but of study. He learns, adapts, and reappears stronger, showing that fear is an endless cycle. And it is this constancy of terror that prepares us for the next topic, the theories about his origin and who or what he really is. The origin of Pennywise is surrounded by mystery and theories that border on the supernatural. Some believe that he is an ancient cosmic entity born even before Derry existed, feeding on human fear as a form of survival. Can you imagine thinking that something so old and powerful could be watching you without you realizing it? This concept turns terror into something almost philosophical, not just frightening. Other theories suggest that he is the physical manifestation of the evil present in the city, a reflection of Derry's dark side. Every disappearance and tragedy would be an echo of his influence, a cyclical repetition of the horror that shapes the city. It is interesting how places and events can accumulate negative energy and create legends that become real in the eyes of those who suffer. Some fans believe that Pennywise is more than a monster. He would be a dimensional predator, capable of assuming any form that amplifies fear. For children, this means that he transforms into what scares them the most, while for adults he remains a vague shadow, a forgotten memory. This makes us reflect on how certain childhood traumas follow us even when we grow up. There are also theories that associate Pennywise with the collective psychology of Derry itself. He would be the materialization of repressed secret fears that no one dares to name. In this sense, the monster is not only external but also internal, a cruel reminder that we cannot escape what we carry inside. This interpretation makes his figure even more frightening because the enemy is inside each one of us. Some interpretations suggest a connection with unknown cosmic forces, perhaps originating from parallel universes. In this context, Pennywise would be an agent of chaos, visiting our world periodically to feed on human fear. It is as if he were a constant in the city's history, a cycle of terror that never ends. This kind of explanation expands the dimension of horror, making it almost mythological. Other theories go beyond physics and psychology, speculating that Pennywise could be an entity that transcends time and space, something that has always existed and always will. He would be the personification of fear itself, capable of touching the human mind on levels that not even science could explain. It is fascinating to think that fear could have its own form and consciousness. Some believe that his origin is linked to ancient rituals or energies that took root in the city, creating a cycle of violence and disappearances. This would make Derry fertile ground for the emergence of Pennywise, and each tragic event would strengthen him. He feeds on history itself, showing that terror can be both temporal and symbolic. Finally, regardless of which theory one chooses, the origin of Pennywise remains shrouded in mystery, fueling the fascination and horror he provokes. The beauty, or terror of it, is that we never truly know where he came from or what his real limit is. And it is exactly this uncertainty that prepares us to better understand the full impact he has on Derry and on those who dare to face him. So, what did you think of this journey through the mind of Pennywise? Did you feel the psychological terror he provokes in Derry and the losers? I want to know your opinion. Which character do you want me to analyze in the next video on the channel? Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any deep analysis and can continue exploring these fascinating minds with us. Every story has a lesson, and every fear we face together makes us stronger and more aware.